Hey, you,
Hi.
you you excited to go see the movie?
Yeah.
You excited to go see the Avengers?
I'm not going to the Avengers.
You excited to see the Suicide Squad?
I'm not going to Suicide
What are
Squad.
we going to see?
The Incredibles.
Oh, right, okay. Hey,
Hi.
hey,
Hi.
you excited to go see Wonder Woman?
We're not going to see Wonder Woman.
Oh, what are we going to see?
The Incredibles.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Cadwin,
Yes.
we're here.
Yes.
We're going to see the amazing movie, the Deadpool 2.
No.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You
I
already saw
forgot.
that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. We're going to see Suicide Squad.
No.
Oh, Superman?
No.
Batman?
No.
The new Spider-Man movie?
Really? No.
Oh, what are we going to see?
Incredibles.
That's right. So yeah, I mentioned a lot of superhero movies there. The reason for that, of course, is The Incredibles 2 in the same formula? Are they in the same kind of, category where it's Pixar and not MCU or the DC? Yes and no. A lot of the elements are there for Incredibles 2 to be another superhero movie. But because it's Pixar, they do shit things up enough where I think they knock the model a little bit out of array, despite having the model there. There's still like the inciting superhero incident. There's something either wrong or everything's going right, and then it switches. And there's still the evil villain, there's still the first battle of the fake out, and then there's the second one, and then there's the climax, and there's the, all-powerful thing that they have to try and figure out and stop. It's all there. It is all there, but they do mix it up with stuff like Mr. Incredible's side story of taking care of the children, as well as other small elements and stuff like that, and of course, it's Pixar. They're going to have all kinds of little details. So I think it breaks it up enough that it doesn't fall into the superhero fatigue category where it's like, fuck, another one, but it doesn't fully escape it either. If you have a kid and you really like The Incredibles when you were younger, because it's been 14 frickin' years, then you're probably going to enjoy it. It is enjoyable. It is The Incredibles 2. It is, not as good as the first one for sure in story-wise or in humor, but it's still a decent film. Things that it does better than the first one is it's way better animated, but that's pretty much expected for 14 years difference. Animation still hadn't quite gotten to the point of super detailed sprites and super detailed things like hair and facial features back when The Incredibles was first introduced. Of course, they have all that now, and it's really, really well animated, of course, because it is Pixar, so I have to give it props for that. Another thing that it does very, very well is that it keeps in line with the characters. The characters are very familiar to what they were the last time, and there's not really much change there because it does take place immediately after. So 14 years hasn't changed how they view and act out the characters, which is also really good. So it's a well-written script. One of the main things I found kind of annoying with this film was the villain. Screenslaver is the villain name. I really don't find Screenslaver as enticing as the villain from the first Incredibles, whose name I forget. Wow, I'm terrible at this. Oh my god. But anyway, the villain from the first Incredibles movie seemed to have a lot more at stake, a lot more to prove, whereas Screenslaver was just more or less like, fuck superheroes, and kind of just came out of the blue. There was no big introduction to it. It was just all of a sudden, boom, there they are. Whereas Syndrome, that was it. Syndrome from the first Incredibles movie had a nice build-up. He invited Mr. Incredible to his island. He had him fight the Thing. He was like, hey, thanks for fighting the Thing. We've got more shit for you. And he talked more so through his assistant than anybody else until they finally met up and had their big confrontation, and he explained why he's doing all of this and why he's killing superheroes with his AI learning machines, and of course eventually himself gets killed by not by a machine. Well, by a machine, but not by his machine. That would have been ironic. But even still, he had better motivation and better reason to go after the Incredibles, especially considering Mr. Incredible kind of snubbed him. He had a better story that way, where Screensaver is just like, fuck superheroes. They're stupid. My dad would still be alive if it wasn't for superheroes. It's like, no, your dad was just really dumb. He knew they had been illegal, so of course those phones weren't going to work. So yeah, fuck your dad, really. Another thing that I kind of liked and hated was Jack Jack. So the baby, right? The baby is a big focus on Mr. Incredible's storyline side, and is definitely a more main focus of the movie, because, of course, in the original Incredibles, he started to get his powers, and now they really flushed out, and now the parents know about it, and they're, trying to handle him and stuff like that. Eventually, that does get fully resolved, but it is kind of annoying that he is a main focus when I would rather see Elastigirl doing what Elastigirl is doing, because she goes off and, as the trailer has it, she's fighting villainy and all that kind of stuff, whereas Mr. Incredible is the stay-at-home dad, which isn't that interesting. It could have been a side note that he's having a hard time, but I think they played it out a little bit too long. So we're going to get into spoil territory. So if you don't want to be spoiled, if you haven't seen it yet, stop here. Overall, before I do go into spoilers, it is a pretty decent film. If you like the original Incredibles, or you have a kid, you want to take them to see a good movie, it's a great movie. Go watch it. But spoilers now. So one of the big problems I had, too, we may as well keep going with that theme, is the end fight scene. So what happens is this corporation guy wants to bring superheroes back. And he's totally legit. He's actually, like, a legit dude. Him and his sister. His sister is the screenslaver. She's this tech junkie guy who invents stuff for the brothers, so the brothers sells it, and they make billions and billions and billions of dollars. So he wants to bring supers back, and he's slowly succeeding. Screenslaver is actually really helping bring supers back, honestly, if anything, which is freaking hilarious. Instead of, joining an opposite political movement to counter the brothers and possibly actually get supers to stay illegal, she decides to help them by becoming a screenslaver and being an awful fucking villain, letting the supers save these people, while she's trying to, like, make the supers look bad. It's honestly backwards, and it makes no goddamn sense. Her final plan does make sense, and this is where the final fight happens. So she has these goggles, she puts them on all these superheroes, so they're under her control, right? So she's gonna be like, oh, they signed superheroes legal again, now I'm going to do a broadcast that says supers are pissed off at all people and we're going to go and kill everybody, ha 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 ha, you shouldn't have made us legal, bitches, which is already flawed. But it doesn't take much at all for these glasses to come off. So the boat scene, the kids show up, and it's like, oh, cool, we're going to see more of Dash's and Violet's powers, and maybe Jack Jack's going to get really involved, and we're going to see Jack Jack do some cool fighting, right? Because he's got amazing powers, like tons of them, and he's, like, super powerful. And we're going to see them fight their parents. It's going to be this, like, crazy fight of, like, them pleading with their parents and them not... Yeah, no. Jack Jack floats over to fucking Elastigirl and mind bends her stupid mind control helmet off. And then Elastigirl has a quick fight with Frozone and Mr. Incredible and takes off theirs as well. Yeah. And then they just kind of go around the ship and they're just taking off their the masks of all these other superheroes one by one. And that's it. It's like 10 minutes, and there's no major fight at all. Like, at all. It's so dumb and mundane. And it's kind of annoying because, like, while Incredibles 1, Syndrome wasn't a superhero, his robot kind of was. Because it had AI learned to the tactics of Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl, but not really the kids, I guess. As well as it was learning about Frozone and stuff like that. It could learn and react, right? And it had super hard armor, so it was hard to penetrate, with the exception of itself. It was quite a fight. It was a climactic fight that had a lot of consequences, and it had a lot of suspense. You weren't, you knew the superhero movie, a kid's superhero movie. Of course they're going to win, but you weren't sure how, and you weren't sure what kind of destruction and stuff was going to happen before they could actually manage to pull off a victory. I found that the suspense in this one for the last scene was very poor. It didn't really feel like anything was really going to happen. I was like, okay, they've got these masks on, so what? And as soon as, like, Jack Jack knocks the masks off of Elastigirl, and then Elastigirl takes it off of Frozone and Mr. Incredible, I'm like, it's over. Like, you have the three strongest superheroes in this universe right there, right now. And they're just going to go and take the masks off everybody else. And it was very boring, I found, as a final fight scene. That could have been more reserved for, like, a mid-movie or like end of second act kind of fight scene, you know, and then the climax comes a little bit later in the third act. That's what it felt like to me, not a final fight. So I was kind of disappointed with that. Another thing I kind of noticed at the end of the movie, and I mentioned it to my fiance, and she's like, oh yeah, they never caught Underminer. So the movie starts with the end of the first Incredibles where Underminer comes up, right? So they fight Underminer, and Underminer actually gets away, and that's part of the reason why they're like shunned, and then this guy comes with the whole proposal to make superheroes legal again, is because they fought and lost to Underminer. Now, Underminer gets away with like a bank load of shit. Like, he legit robs a bank, like millions of dollars, and then gets away. And they never catch him. They don't catch him in the entire movie. He got away. He actually fully got away. And I was really hoping at the end they would have him, like, you know, tunnel back up or something to do it again. And it'd just be like a recurring end gag with this movie series that Underminer just keeps showing up and getting away. But they didn't do it. They just never showed Underminer again. He was totally, like... The only reason he was there was just to show... you know, why supers were bad and why this guy wants to make them good and the whole perception thing. And that was it. He got away. So I find that funny that he just kind of, you know, he got away. He actually got away with it. Good job, Underminer. You are the best villain of 2000 and fucking forever. You got away and lived, and good job. One last thing I want to mention, I'm going to make a separate short video for this. Nobody has talked about the short film that's in front of The Incredibles, at least in Canada, at the theater I went to. It's a movie called, I believe it's pronounced Bao, or Bao. I think it's Bao. It's about this Chinese mother who more or less hallucinates with this little, like, oh my god, what the hell is that food called? Hold on. It's a dumpling. It's a dumpling, but it has a dim sum. So it's dim sum. And it turns into a living child, and she, like, takes care of it, and then I won't really say it. I'll talk about it in the video I make for it. But it was absolutely adorable. It was so cute. There was no dialogue, but it was so adorable and heartfelt and touching, and you could almost tell, like, the animator had experienced this with their own family members. It was absolutely adorable and precious, and nobody's talking about it. Nobody in their Incredibles review is like, hey, by the way, that short animated film at the start, wasn't that adorable? So fuck you all. I'm going to make a quick video on it that will probably be out tomorrow. So, hey, 2 videos in 2 days. All right. That's it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Peace.